Hello, you lovely listeners. I'm Amy. Welcome to the Really Good Conversations podcast, where we will delve into the minds of the business people we have met in the process of launching our first card game. We will be uncovering their secrets to success, their biggest mistakes, and sharing the key lessons they have picked up en route. So, if you're looking for an engaging chinwag mixed with business insights and a good pinch of fun, you're in the right place. Let's have a really good conversation. Welcome to the Really Good Conversations podcast. Today, I am both delighted and nervous to be joined by the world-renowned marketing scientist, Professor Byron Sharp, who is one of the most influential voices shaping modern marketing practices. Professor Byron is the director of the Ehrenberg-Bass Institute of Marketing Science and author of the groundbreaking book, How Brands Grow. His and the Institute's research have challenged traditional marketing beliefs, transforming how we understand brand growth, buyer behaviour and advertising. Welcome to the podcast, Professor Byron.
Thank you. You can just call me Byron.
Thank you so much for joining me today. It really is an honour to actually get the opportunity to have a conversation with you. Now, not all of our listeners may be familiar with your work, but to be recognised as one of the most influential people in modern marketing is a pretty amazing achievement. Do you ever reflect on how you got here?
Well, I know how I got here. But yeah, it is quite cool. I think I can say that I have turned out to be the sort of academic that I wanted to be when I started. So
amazing.
But I probably didn't think I would ever, get there. Yeah, I always wanted to be someone who didn't just impress a small clique of academics. I wanted to have impact on the real world and ideally sort of globally. So yeah, I guess I wanted to be a famous marketing academic, but I didn't think that was, to be honest, I didn't really think that was possible from Adelaide, Australia. So that's pretty cool.
It really is. For you personally, what sparked your interest in marketing science?
My background at high school was art history and things like that, but I knew that wasn't going to get me a job. Not unless I wanted to be an academic, and I did not want to be an academic. My mum was a primary school teacher, great teacher, but I didn't think that was anything I'd want to do. So I went to University of Auckland and I studied law and commerce, and I hated the law. It was awful. The whole school was set up as if you wanted to be a lawyer. I didn't, I knew I didn't want to be a lawyer. I just thought it would be a nice thing to add to my commerce degree. And in commerce, I thought I'd be studying management, and I felt there was a lot of gobbledygook in that. And then there was this, Marketing 101, where they taught you that the only reason businesses exist is because they make stuff for people. And that is the real economy. And so you have to try to work out what is actually something that people would buy, and you have to get it to them and make it easy. And this to me, as a very young teenager, was business. And I thought, this is cool. This is, what I came to learn about. So I guess I should major in marketing. And so that's how I fell into marketing. It was a vaguely conscious choice.
Yes. And what was the defining moment that led you further into the scientific path?
Well, I spent a while I was in industry, and then I was in the painful position of being halfway between the real world and academia. But it was probably that time, because for a period I was like the part-time marketing manager of the university's consulting company. And I learned about the product, and the product that sold to the real world was the people. It wasn't the business school. It was people, it was engineers and scientists who were out making discoveries. And that had a big effect. I mean, I thought, oh yeah, the real world, there's so much that's not known, right? Mm. Whether you're, running a small business or a giant mining company, whatever, there's just a million things you don't know, and that you have to wing it for so many things. Yeah. And so if someone stands up and present some knowledge about something, that's fantastic. That's captivating. You're like, I want to buy that. And I realize there's no point, universities aren't just to lean against the fireplace and impart, wisdom to the students. You've got to go out and make some discoveries. So that was a very defining moment. That led to me to encourage some bright other people to come and join me. And we had this crazy idea that if we make discoveries and we tell the real world about it, they'll ask for more.
I love it.
Worked out quite well.
Absolutely. And clearly that passion and curiosity in you that sent you further down that path. You're known for challenging conventional marketing theories, and you're quite active on, LinkedIn, and you're not afraid to share your opinions. And I do love that when you get in the comments, you are typically, you do back things up with science, you back up those arguments. Why do you feel compelled to debunk myths and theories?
Let me give me two answers. I'll give you two answers.
Yeah.
The first is actually it's actually a myth that the Ehrenberg-Bass Institute, sets out to create all these controversial findings. We don't. I mean, that is the story of science in every discipline, in every scientific discipline. Whenever people have wanted to study something about the real world, whether it's, I don't know, the way that birds talk to each other, or the way people buy brands, you discover things that challenge your preconceptions. You discover weird stuff. And so it's not really surprising that if we did it in marketing, it'd be any different from anywhere else. Every other discipline has found what seems to be very weird things. But hey, as I always say, the world is a very weird place. We are not equipped to just understanding it by thinking about it. You have to go out and study it. There is an ethical duty, I think, for academics to point out stuff that's wrong. I'm amazed how people fall for stuff coming out of the big consulting companies and even the big market research companies. These people are just trying to sell stuff to you.
Yeah.
They don't care if their thing is right. I mean, actually, if they found something in their data that contradicted, the spiel that they'd been giving a client, they would just bury it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so really, really untrustworthy. It is like back in the days where pharmaceutical companies used to sell, snake oil and sugar water and claim that it cured everything. And so we have an ethical, so I do chip in on LinkedIn sometimes, and you can say just quite bluntly, no, that's wrong.
Do you ever, because obviously LinkedIn, you can go on for obviously 5 minutes and be down a rabbit warren very quickly and lose a number of hours. But do you ever see things and you'd rather scroll past and think, I can't be bothered to get involved and try and correct this person? Or do you really feel that urge of, I need to put the record straight here because they are spouting something that is just not correct?
Yeah, it varies, but if I can just quickly point to something and say, no, that's wrong. See this, go to chapter 12 in How Brains Grow or something. I'll do that. Someone made a comment on when I posted that, and I actually replied, I don't think even you understand your question. And I'm not gonna get involved in a discussion on that. Like, what are you even asking? I don't think you know. So you do have to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, but you definitely have created a bit of a perception, or if you will, a personal brand persona that, you are direct and you have quite a no-nonsense attitude. Was that intentional? Did you want to be perceived as that character?
No, I probably absolutely. I mean, I think people who listen to me on podcasts and things go, "Oh, he's quite nice, really," So I think on LinkedIn you can get a. I don't think people. See, again, this is this weird thing of like, oh gosh, it's so impolite to just tell someone they're wrong. In the Ehrenberg-Bass Institute, we're very friendly and nice to each other. So because of that, we're very relaxed and we're very capable of telling each other that, oh, no, that's wrong, you haven't thought of X. And yeah, I know that for some people that's a confronting sort of culture. They're just like, oh, you can't in front of other people tell someone they're wrong. And we're like, but we're academics, it's our job. Our first allegiance should be to truth, right? It's no big deal, everyone makes mistakes. That's okay.
Yeah. And if you were thinking about your own personal brand perception, what is the perception you would like people to have of you?
People like the truth. Yeah, people do like the evidence. In marketing, we have so much stuff that just is, and so it's quite a shock for people who come in from, say, you've spent half your life working in pharmaceuticals or something, and then you find yourself on the marketing side in a pharmaceutical company, and then you come across this marketing stuff and go, well, wait on, where's the evidence for this? And you're like, wow, there isn't any. People can have really strong. It always does amaze me how people can have this is true in all sorts of things. People can have quite strong opinions on things, and yet they haven't actually done much homework on them. It's quite astonishing.
Definitely. I think the internet has a lot to answer for, because I think that is certainly with the place where a lot of people pick up these strong-minded opinions, but perhaps built on little foundation as well. But we are now living in a world that is absolutely full of marketing messages, advertising all around us. Do you find it hard to switch off from the marketing world?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm quite capable of being a normal consumer, and consumers are very switched off. I love telling people to do something that's very weird, and that is to go into a supermarket and be a scientist. Like stop shopping and actually look at all the shelves. And it's really eye-opening, because you see stuff you've never seen before, brands you've never seen before, and you realize, wow, I just don't look at stuff, do I? Really? No.
Yeah.
So no, I'm perfectly able to do that.
But do you find that you can't help but almost critique if you do see advertising or billboards and things like that? Because I know over the years I probably have, I see stuff and you think, oh, that was an interesting choice of either wording or imagery that you think, is that the best option for that actual communication?
Yeah, on some things. Probably some of the younger researchers in the Institute love doing that. They're always posting on our internal Slack, like, oh my God, look at this. Isn't this terrible?
Yeah. And when you're not fully immersed in the world of research and marketing, what are some of the passions and hobbies that you enjoy outside of it?
Oh, I love... I have my wine cellar. I love that. But I love I have a projector for home theatre, so I love geeking out. And don't ask me to
say what your favourite films are.
Or talk about the intricacies of Dolby Vision versus HDR 10+, because I will talk about that.
You're in a great spot for the Barossa.
Oh yes, Adelaide
into your wine.
Amazing. Yeah. I have Penfolds Winery. I mean, I can cycle there in about 10 minutes. Yeah.
Wonderful. And I was interested to also ask, with all of the knowledge that you have about brands and marketing, have you ever considered launching your own product? And I'm meaning a sort of direct-to-consumer style product.
Oh, direct-to-consumer.
Outside of the academic world, shall we say?
Oh, no, I'm too busy. No. We're always launching stuff in the Ehrenberg-Bass Institute. So we're a pretty big... I mean, we've built a pretty big B2B brand. We've just launched How Brands Grow Live, which was something that we did in-house for sponsors, so we've launched that now as not B2C, but individuals can come to How Brands Grow Live for executive development. And of course, we have our books, which you can individually buy, but the other stuff is for sponsors, so it's selling to corporations. Yeah, that does keep us busy.
Yeah, because honestly, I see with all your knowledge, you could be, creating products and brands left, right, and center, and you'd have all of the best ways to market it. So,
Yeah.
what era, if any, and it may be the current era, would you have been most excited to work in marketing or advertising?
No, I'm going to say now because we're at the start of the scientific revolution in marketing.
Mm,
I think that's pretty exciting. Uh, so little was when I did my degree. I have to think very little knowledge was imparted other than just learning about the system. You know,
mm,
so if you need to do advertising, there are these things called advertising agencies. Oh,
mm.
and there are these things, and if you do advertising, you have to have media, and there are these things called media agencies, and you know, you want to know that you can buy the media before you make the ad. This is it's sort of like a cookbook type instruction, which yeah, sure, you're 18 years old. This is useful to know, um, but apart from that, like how does advertising work? No, I wasn't really taught that.
Mm. Yeah.
No, not at all.
If you think back to the Mad Men days, I don't know if you've
Yes.
seen that documentary, and almost when a lot, particularly advertising, there wasn't as many rules or governing bodies or standards that people had to be adhering to. So, sometimes I think were people able to be more creative then? Could they push boundaries, get away with more boundaries then back?
Oh, sure, but they could make more mistakes. Well,
Mm,
no, actually, no. Look, there was some lovely things because the world was a bit simple. Well, more simple, in that like if you wanted to reach everyone with your advertising, you just had to buy some TV space, or
mm,
most cities would have one newspaper. So uh, that did make things more simple. You could waste money, of course, but you couldn't really muck up and destroy your brand because
mm.
you might be spending a bit too much money, but you'd reach everyone still. Today, it is much more complicated. You can. Yeah, I know people who talk about we're just putting this money into media and we have no idea if is anyone actually really seeing this stuff.
Oh yeah, pretty complex place we're in. And before I go on to some of the myth busters, I'm keen to ask you. I'm also intrigued to know who do you admire yourself, whether it's in life or business? Is there anyone who stands out on your journey that you admire?
I really admire professionals. It almost brings a tear to my eye when I see someone. It doesn't matter what it is, whether they're a glass blower or a bridge builder or whatever. I love it. It's we had a marketing revolution about 10,000 years ago where people started specializing in things and therefore trading because
Mm.
if I only grow bananas, I'm pretty sick of bananas, and so I'd love to trade some with the I don't know the avocados that you grow, and so people started trading and trusting each other so that they could do that was the start of a marketing revolution. You would look at it now today.
Mm.
We have incredibly specialized people, and so they get really good at their. We have marketing scientists now. If you spoke to a Victorian person and said, in 100 years' time, we'll have marketing scientists, they'd be like, what? What is that? What is that? Um, and so I really admire professionalism. And on the flip side of that, I get really annoyed if I see something like a taxi driver, driving really badly because I think
Mm.
you've chosen to be a taxi driver. Get some joy out of doing your job well, okay? Like if you can't do your job well, if you don't like doing it, then go and do something else. You've only
Yeah,
got one life. I love it when professionals are really, really proud of what they do.
yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. And yeah, it is. It's exciting when you see somebody genuinely passionate and interested about whether it's a sport they're doing or a hobby or the field in which they work in. You really do you feed off it. You really do. It is inspiring.
Yeah. And it's fantastic, isn't it, when you ask a professional who really knows something, whether it's a
Mm,
doctor or a lawyer or something, and you go, oh, wow, yeah, okay, fantastic. You just knew the answers so fast.
yeah.
And that's amazing. Yeah. You've been doing this for a while, right?
It really is. And obviously, we've touched on the book a little bit, the how brands grow. And I don't want to have the episode of us just regurgitating what's in the book. And I'd definitely be encouraging.
It's too much.
Exactly. We will be here all day. And I really would encourage anyone listening to go check it out. But I thought we'd just give our listeners a little bit of a taster into some of the marketing myths that you have debunked over the years through a bit of a quick fire game of true or false.
Okay.
So I'll read out 5 statements. We'll do one at a time, and you can tell me if they're true or false. And
Okay.
I am aware there's nuances behind often with this. Yeah. So feel free if you do want to elaborate anything further, or we'll just move on to the next.
Okay.
So number 1, acquiring a new customer costs 5 times more than retaining an existing customer.
False.
Oh.
By retaining, I mean, stopping someone leaving. That's very expensive and near impossible, right? Because people usually have pretty big reasons why they're leaving to buy another brand. So, yeah, it's one of those pervasive myths.
Yeah, and a statement that has been thrown around, and I've heard many a time over my career as well, used, that, people are using that sometimes in that strategic thinking of...
Yeah. And it leads you down a terrible hole of over-investing in existing customers and failing to acquire customers, and you will lose customers. So if you don't acquire customers, you're getting smaller.
Mm. Number 2, customer loyalty is key to brand growth.
No, false. Well, all brands get loyalty, and you need more loyal customers, not more loyalty from your customers.
Good distinction. Number 3, your brand needs a purpose to be successful.
No, false.
Yeah, I feel like we've been in that era for a while of, find your purpose, and that being the thing that people are perhaps championing and seeking as the main thing to...
Yeah, I think we've sobered up. People have gone, wait on. 99.9999% of brands in the world don't have a purpose. And and including ones that do astonishingly well.
Yeah. Love that. Refreshing to hear. Number 4, your advertising should be narrowed to specific demographics and their emotional state.
False. Just from a practical perspective, that's actually astonishingly hard to deliver. But there's no evidence for narrow targeting. No.
Mm-hmm. Cool. They are just a couple of little nuggets that some of our listeners may have heard, that whether they have worked in the marketing industry or have been developing their own brand, and there may be things that they have been actually really focusing on. And your work really puts a new lens on a lot of those theories. Though, yes, I encourage everyone to dig further, because we've only shared a few.
Yes, there are things that sound so right. And they turn out to be wrong, which, I guess, actually not that long ago, right? We thought disease was spread by bad smells, and every doctor knew that. And that was really... you'd say bad smells might be indicative of bacteria or something like that, but that's not how disease spreads. So it was really, really wrong. So it's the same in marketing, that thing of surely it costs more to acquire a new customer than it does to stop one leaving. You're like, well, no, actually, because firms acquire customers all the time. They do stuff and they acquire customers, but the amount they lose tends to be quite predictable. We can predict exactly how many they'll lose, and it doesn't matter what they seem to do, you still lose that amount.
Wow.
Oh. Okay.
Amazing.
Even growing brands lose customers.
Yeah.
Shrinking brands lose customers. A brand that is two brands that are exactly the same market share, but one is on a trajectory up and one is on a trajectory down, will both lose the same amount of customers. You can't tell what trajectory it's on by looking at how many customers it's losing. But if you look at how many customers they're acquiring, the brand that's moving up is doing really well on acquisition, and the brand that's declining is doing very poorly.
Wow, brilliant. Love that simple explanation. And we touched on before we started recording this, I gave you a bit of an insight into my background, my career background that has been in the marketing space. And in our other world, outside of Really Good Conversations, we do some knowledge sharing talks in the brand space. When we call it branding without the bullshit, where
Right.
we ourselves, aim to remove some of the marketing fluff and subjective opinions. And when we are working with clients, try and provide some of those actionable steps that business owners can really take for their brand without getting lost in a lot of the, jargon and such. So obviously your work to us has been like just super refreshing and totally in line with what we think, and particularly inspiring. For you at the moment, what is the number one piece of bullshit that is currently irritating you in the marketing and brand space?
I think it's all this confusion about mental availability and physical availability that people. It's almost like it's too simple that people go, oh yeah, I've got that, and then they go off and blather and talk about things like long term, short term, top of funnel, bottom of funnel, activation, performance versus brand building, and like that all that stuff is just confusing you.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of relating to mental and physical availability, but it's carrying some other baggage in it that's confusing you. I mean, even short term, long term, people say, "Oh, that's straightforward," and you're like, "Well, what is this long term?" Like, you do something now, and then it's you see nothing, and then what? Some other in 2-3 years' time, it's suddenly going to explode like a time bomb or something. Is that what it means? And people are, short term, I get. It's stuff I should be able to see tomorrow. The long term stuff, right? Yeah, what am I talking about when I mean long term? You're talking about mental availability, okay?
Yeah.
Reaching the brains of people who aren't actually buying now, but they will buy. Oh, okay. Oh, that's clearer. Yeah, okay. So that is a big bugbear for me to think. I've seen some very senior marketers who don't. They go, I'm doing some advertising and so what is the objective? Is this to reach people who are, they're about to buy a fridge this month? Or is it to reach the 99.999% of people who are going to buy a fridge in the future, but not this month? And you need to make a distinction between that. You can't judge. If it's to do the mental availability, you can't judge it then on your sales this month. Oh, it is actually quite a hard thing for people to go around there. So you're doing advertising to boost sales, yes, but you won't be able to see it in your sales next month. People find that pretty hard to understand. No, you will not see it in your sales, but you are doing it to generate sales. So I understand why it's a bit tricky, but senior marketers need to have really super laser clarity on this. We do some things for the people who are in the market next week, and we do other things which are not about that, and we use other metrics to judge them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've touched on really, yes, we now have made life a bit more complex than it was, whether it's through the tools, the technologies and things.
Yeah, lots more tools, more, yeah.
But what do you think is coming up next in the marketing space? Have we lost the era of the creative genius? And if we think, how can people continue, in your view, to continue to create original and distinctive work?
Well, I hope, and I think it is a hope, that if people do realize that the job of marketing is to look after those two very important assets and to grow the mental and physical availability, that they can unleash the creativity which is required for the mental availability and stop getting hung up on trying to use marketing mix modeling or attribution or something to try to evaluate. You're like, no. You're like the old analogy of the drunk who's looking for their keys under the lamppost, and you go, oh, right, did you drop them here? He's like, no. Well, why are you looking under this lamppost? And he goes, because this is where the light is. And we got to stop people going, why are you using marketing mix based on, next week's sales movements and things to judge your mental availability stuff? Stop doing that, okay? Just stop it. Stop it. And then let the creatives create some great creativity, not be judged on what it does to your sales news. Whereas your physical availability, absolutely, the stuff that you're doing with Google search or your activation or your price specials, you can judge those on how does it show up in sales tomorrow. But don't blur the two. And then I think that helps unleash creativity, because then the creative messages to reach people's brains, we go, okay, so I have to use distinctive assets. I have to make sure that people know that this is communication is coming from me, our brand. But other than that, I just have to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that unleashes creativity.
Absolutely. Do you think as humans, though, are we oversaturated, though, now with all the different options and all the different brands that we do have availability?
Consumers are fantastic at dealing with that, right? There was there was a bit of academic research on, what's it called, the paradox of choice and things. But these tiny studies, and they were really artificial to try to show that, really hard to show that people had trouble making choices when you gave them more things. But in actual fact, people are very, very good at screening stuff out. So that's not a problem for consumers.
Oh, good. And do you think future generations will care about brands?
Well, yes and no. We don't. No generations cared much about brands.
Well, yes.
We have our brands that we like, and they help us get through life, but they've never been that important to us. That said, we care in the sense of, a lot of people would care if you took it away. If you said, you're not allowed to buy that brand anymore. Where Soviet Union, Russia had one brand of chocolate. The people did not like that.
Yeah.
And people care more about that than probably which political party is in. So they care in a big general sense. I like having lots of diversity in the world, and I like to be able to choose my things. Yeah, I think brands will always be around because they help make people's lives easier, right? That you can learn brands, and so people care about that. Yes. And then for marketers, well, more and more and more tools and ways to reach people. So, that's pretty exciting. If you think, only a while ago we had no e-commerce. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So that's it's exciting, but it is also a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. AI is currently a major topic in conversation across industries, across the world. And I felt I couldn't miss this opportunity to obviously get your thoughts on it. In what ways do you think AI will be most useful for brands?
Through automation. I mean, taking out some of the drudgery out of marketing. I think it's a positive thing. I feel sorry for, we've just been through this era. I think it's starting to end now. We had young people coming in doing marketing degree, and you'd say, where do you want to go in your career? And they'd say, I'd really like to do something in social media. I'd like to, and you think, what, you want to work? It's like a sweatshop, right? Can you imagine? Can you imagine, running, I don't know, the, Instagram account for IKEA? And it's like, okay, today, coffee tables. We need to do a post again about coffee tables. Okay. Yeah.
It's still pretty frightening that I was at university when Facebook started, and then you needed a university email address to have an account. And I just think, crikey, now what that beast has become in so many different ways, pros and cons as well. And you think, crikey, it's really not that long a time, and how that has changed and evolved.
Yeah. So hopefully AI will take out some of the boring stuff in marketing. And what we are going to need is a lot more better trained marketers who can ask the creative questions.
Yeah.
And can do experiments, to work out what's working, because so they need to be trained in that, not, how to do a post on Instagram. It's like, don't worry, the machine's doing that for you already now. Well, remember, you used to get trained on how to, do HTML code to
Mm,
do a web page. Like,
yeah,
not many
crazy.
people do that now.
What aspects of AI concerns you in the field of marketing and science?
Concerns me. Well, I think I'm going to echo a number of people have said, like I think when LinkedIn started, like it'll write the post for you, and people go, no, this is terrible. It's going to produce billions. People are going to be lazy, and you're going to get billions of posts that are all pretty much the same. And we'll go through that era. That's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
It's like when firms discovered, oh, geez, we could email people stuff. It's like, which was the follow-on from the direct marketing thing. Was like, oh, we could put things in people's mailboxes, and so we went
Yeah.
berserk.
Abuse the system, and then everyone's now trying to claw it back and unsubscribe from things and stop using their phones and emails and everything as much as what they do.
Yeah, but I hope some of the technology gets cleaned up and things. It really annoys me when I get an email from a vendor and selling something like wine or something, and you click on the link and it takes you to their website, and then a pop-up window goes, join our mailing group. It's like,
I'm already on it.
I'm on it. Sounding like, so you can't detect that I've come from it. I mean, clearly we need to clean up this sort of things because we're just annoying people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's you were talking about jargon before. One of the most awful pieces of jargon is that we're building a relationship with consumers, and this is used to excuse all sorts of sins. No, sending them 8 emails a week is not building a relationship with them. Okay.
Yeah.
It's why did that? You're never going to have a relationship with them, and why you're using this as an excuse to just. It's not.
Keep spanning them.
Yes.
As well.
I need your email address. Do you need to give me your email address to join my loyalty program so that I can form a relationship with you? I don't want that.
Now, before we go into some of the really good conversation questions, even though I know I've asked you a lot of questions on this podcast already, let us know what's on the horizon for the Institute this year. You touched on the How Brands Grow live events.
For executives. Yep, we'll be doing that again in Singapore and Bordeaux and Boston. So that will be exciting. It's a fabulous fun. We will be issuing some research on brand purpose. We will be issuing, the things go out to our sponsors first of all, but there's lots more discoveries, lots of interesting things we're doing.
Wow. So you're not finished yet with the debunking of myths.
Oh, but also just so many things just aren't known.
Yeah.
I used to use years ago, I used to use the simple example that, if you buy, magazine advertising, you can choose whether to have it on the left-hand side of the page or the right-hand side of the page. And if you go, whoa, oh, gosh, I wonder if one's better than the other. I'll go look at my marketing textbook. You won't get an answer. And so there's so many things in marketing that we don't know the answers to. And so we lots more basic science needs to be done.
Fantastic. I look forward to seeing what else comes out in the future. Right. So what I love to do with all of the guests that we have on our podcast is to ask a couple of on-the-spot questions from our really good conversation cards. So I have picked you out 3 cards from our first edition pack. So question number 1. If you came with a warning label, what would it say?
Doesn't suffer fools. Don't make strong statements that you don't have evidence for.
Oh, fantastic. Very relevant. Question number 2. If you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
I'm going to cheat. You always want remember there was that film, Batman versus Superman, and it's like, well, look, it's no compare. Superman's invincible. Batman's a normal human being. Like invincibility. That's the best superpower, right?
An excellent superpower. I like that. And question number 3. What is the one piece of wisdom you want to pass on to future generations?
That the world is a weird place. Right? So because of that, be very open-minded, right? Because what you think is maybe a crazy explanation could actually be true. But, and now I'll quote, I think it's Carl Sagan, don't be so open-minded that you let your brains fall out, okay? You've also got to be skeptical. You've got to go, okay, wow, that's a weird, well, what's the evidence? What's the logic? But I'm not going to dismiss you just because I think what you're saying sounds wrong or weird. So open-mindedness and skepticism are the 2 personality traits that scientists should have to have. But I think they're actually extremely useful for anyone in life.
Brilliant. I love that. And the finishing question that I ask all of our guests is, if you could ask any person, dead or alive, a question, who would it be and what would you ask them?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. There's just so many fascinating people. Charles Darwin was just, amazing, incredible insight. And so I guess I'd like to chat to him. I'm not exactly sure what I'd ask him. He completely revolutionized our, understanding of biology and where we came from. And you think, wow. I don't think he set out to do that.
No. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Byron. It has been an absolute delight to chat to you and dig a little bit beneath the surface of the man behind the brain and the books and everything. So I do really appreciate your time. Just lastly, for our listeners, where can they find out more information about you, the Institute and any of the books, etc.?
That's really easy in today's age, right? You can just Google Byron Sharp or Ehrenberg-Bass, or you'll find us. But yeah, our main marketingscience.info is our website on the university.
Fantastic. Well, I'll include those links in the show notes as well for people to check out further. And thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to check out the show notes for more information on today's guests. And if really good conversations are your thing, hit subscribe and join us next time for more business journeys, insights and banter.